Imagine spending a lot of hours to figure out how to eat perfectly healthy, only to end up more confused than ever. That was me. There's an overwhelming amount of content out there, how to eat healthy. At first, it seems like a pretty simple topic, because if you have a lot of content out there, isn't it easy to get real information? No, because it can get really complicated. That's why I want to share with you my personal fitness journey. So my experience, how I got started, and most importantly, challenges which I faced along the way. These challenges aren't about just the food, but also about your mindset and feeling. And small disclaimer, I'm not an expert. I just want to share my personal experience, my opinions. Please don't take it as an ultimate truth. If you search online how to eat healthy, you should get a simple answer, right? But no, instead you're getting in the world of conflicting opinions. And if you will open your phone and start scrolling answers, you will see first video telling you, don't eat carbs, cut them out completely because they're full of sugar. And then next one will tell you, cut out completely meat because it's the healthiest option which you can do for yourself. And suddenly you're left wondering, who do I even listen to? My answer is listen to everyone and no one. You need to build your own understanding what healthy eating means for you. It's important to realize that eating healthy takes time and research, the same as with starting anything new. It's not something you can figure out overnight. Dietitians actually spend years and years to become experts in that field. So don't expect from yourself to master making healthy, balanced meals just in one day. Be really patient with yourself, as learning is a part of the process. I started by restricting myself too much. After that, of course, I binged and I was feeling bad about myself. Until I finally, thanks God, started to understand what makes sense to me. I spent so much time by copying so-called experts and trying out different weird food trends and convincing myself that if I use some coconut sprinkle on my bowl of oats, it will magically taste like Bounty. Total shit. What I essentially learned by that, to take every advice on the internet with a grain of salt. Because popular influencers and also articles on the internet aren't always correct. Also, nutrition is super personal. What might work for a professional athlete might not be suitable for you. I will repeat it one more time, but starting eating healthy is a process, and you probably will try some crap advices anyway. But we've all been there and done that. Here's also something not everyone is talking about, that eating perfectly healthy isn't perfectly healthy for your mind. This all or nothing mindset is probably the thing which prevents you from building healthier lifestyle. I realized that I was stuck in this mindset when I was freaking out about eating one cookie or eating a bowl of salad with a bit of oil. I was even eating this crisp bread which was tasting like paper because I was convinced that somehow normal bread would make some bad things to me. But let's be real, how often do you actually see people in real life who are eating perfectly healthy all the time? For me, it's mostly something you see only online, where people show parts of their lives they want you to see. That's why I want to encourage you to be smarter than I was and don't apply this all or nothing mindset. Another challenge I faced was coming from people who were surrounding me. Sometimes our closest ones, like parents, grandparents, friends, are the ones who actually want to share their golden advice. While their intentions might be good, it isn't always helpful to listen to them. For example, you mentioned that you want to start eating healthier, and someone says, "Oh, but you just ate a bought store cookie and that's not healthy." The thing is, people around us don't often see a full picture of our life. They just make assumptions based on what they just saw. Even if you're doing everything right and you're doing a small exception once in a while, people will judge you for it. That's why trying to live up others' expectations doesn't make any sense. Even if you're trying to live your best life and doing everything perfectly, there is always gonna be a person who will tell you what you're doing wrong. Also, a lot of these comments are coming from older generation who didn't have that great role models at their time. Back in their days, strict, unsustainable diets were the norm. And you would hear the things from them like, oh, at your age, I ate only one bowl of salad a day, and I was perfectly healthy. No, you were probably starving yourself. It isn't normal, but don't discuss this. Don't get me wrong, if you have around you a great role model, which you can look up to, by all means, listen to them. But more often than not, people just like to give advices because they feel super knowledgeable, and most of the times they're not. We live in a society where, unfortunately, people who are the least informed think they know the best. Next reality check that hit me when I was eating too little was that if you're looking skinnier, people will assume that you're healthier too. And honestly, for me, that sucks the most. Imagine losing a lot of weight in a really unhealthy way and feeling just terrible. For me, it came with chronic fatigue, losing my period, and also being obsessed with restrictions. But what did people say to me at the time? They were saying that I look nice and that I look more like a model now. And while I know most of them weren't meant to hurt me, it was really frustrating. Because being the most complimented at the time where you feel like it's the worst phase of your life is just terrible. What I really want to highlight by this is that not everyone who looks fit or healthy is actually healthy. So it's really important not to base your self-worth based on what people say about you or how they perceive you. Because at the end of the day, people will come and go, but you're stuck with yourself all the time. Another thing that might seem a little bit unlogical, but the more you restrict yourself in the short time, the more you're likely to break those restrictions in the long term. If the diet you created for yourselves feels impossible to stick to, there is a high chance that you will give up in a really short time. The more difficult is something to maintain, the shorter it will last. I think this applies to everything in our lives, not only diets. That's just how humans work. Lastly, I want to talk about consumerism culture, which is surrounding health these days. It took me some time to realize that you don't need anything fancy to make a healthy, balanced meal. You probably don't need this expensive gluten-free bread or low-calorie ice cream. In my opinion, your food don't need to be expensive in order to be healthy. You probably saw these super powders or also some kind of fancy supplements which are usually marketed by popular influencers. They probably will talk how much this supplement changed their life. And of course, they will always promote them because they're sponsored. And let's be honest, we all want to see magical results without putting any effort. I also used to believe that some random product could change my life. But unfortunately, the only thing that worked was just putting in the effort and making a real change. Basically, that's all I wanted to share today. These are just some of the important things I learned so far in my life. I hope something I said resonated with you. If you fully watched this video, I really want you to thank for your attention. I'm also planning to do a part about working out, so if you're interested, you can subscribe and like, and thank you so much for watching this video again, and bye bye!